Yes, people. Yes, people. Yes, people. Welcome back to the We Talk Football podcast. Today we've got the pleasure of being joined by Oliver Stevenson. How you doing, mate?
Very well, Jamie. Thank you for having me.
You are more than welcome. How are you doing, Quakey?
I'm all good, man. A bit bleary-eyed. Had to work the games yesterday, so yeah, it was crazy. Never ever heard the word permutation as much as I have in the last 48 hours. But all good, mate. Now we know the path.
I was going to say, well, the ramifications of last night have set up a huge game against Germany. England versus Germany in tournament football doesn't get any bigger than that. Doesn't get any bigger than that as an England fan. What are you guys thinking about the game?
If I can go first, I mean, I'm actually delighted that it's ended up being Germany. I just felt that for a bit of time, it felt like it could be France, and I'm just not really feeling that at the moment. I just think they still haven't really got going, and you can see they can really turn it on. Portugal maybe stylistically would have been best for us, but I'm way too scared of Ronaldo right now to be dealing with that. And Hungary, bizarrely, I actually think would have been negative for us because obviously we'd all think we're going to win, but then they would have come through the group of death in second place. So obviously no mugs would obviously have beaten Germany to be in that situation, drawn with France, conceded 3 late goals to Portugal. I think Germany's genuinely the best one. I'm not saying we're going to win. I just think that it's just everything behind it as well. I'm really happy that it's going to be Germany.
And Germany have put in some real Jekyll and Hyde performances so far, haven't they? Obviously, they had that amazing performance against Portugal, but then they looked, lackluster against France. Obviously, you can say it's against France, and they didn't look amazing last night. They did enough to get over the line. So if you're going to choose any team, really, like you said, Ronaldo, he's still scoring goals for fun. I think he beat the record last night and became the joint international goal scorer in terms of the highest scoring record. So yeah, to play Germany is going to be an interesting one because both teams are going to be fired up. What do you think about the games, Quake?
I'm buzzing that it's Germany. Like, it's a mixture of playing like the occasion and also pragmatism because we now know we're on the easier side of the draw, but also it's a major tournament and we've got games at Wembley and like we don't want to go through the whole tournament not playing a big team because then you see people asking questions about Southgate's run to the semi-finals in the World Cup. I feel like if we get a win against Germany, that kind of puts that to bed and then we're on the easier side of the draw. And but like if we're going to ever beat Germany, this is going to be the best time. You saw Germany's reaction yesterday when they drew with Hungary. They're in a transitional period right now. They know they're not Germany of old. So like the fact that they were celebrating the 2-2 draw, not celebrating, but they were happy with the 2-2 draw against Hungary, kind of tells you where Germany are at the moment. And I feel like England either play up or down to the opposition. And I feel like we're well matched in terms of how we set up to play the Germans. And me and Ollie go back and forth at work about the permutations, or we were going back and forth about the permutations in terms of where we should finish in the group. And Ollie was like, we should finish top. And this has been proved correct because we finished top of the group. We haven't conceded the goal. We haven't lost the game. We've got Germany, which is a tough round 16 game. But then apart from that, it doesn't. I'm not gonna say plain sailing to the final, but we look in a good place. So yeah, I'm very very happy. Happy it's Germany. Happy that we can maybe later rest some of the demons of tournaments of yesteryear. And yeah, buzzing for Tuesday, mate.
100%, and I'll flash up on screen the last 16 draw and essentially the potential fixtures. So obviously, if we beat Germany, we play either Sweden or the Ukraine. Then it goes on to the semi-finals where we could play either. Well, obviously there's teams to get through, but we could play either the Netherlands, the Czech Republic, Wales, or Denmark. So you're completely right. Outside of Germany, we've got quite a favourable run to the final, and there's no better time. We haven't conceded a goal. I know we're playing against we haven't played the top team yet, but we haven't conceded a goal, and we've looked just defensively astute. So it's all things rosy right now. But what do you think, Ollie? What do you how do you think Gareth Southgate approaches this game and looks at a run to the final?
Well, to be honest, in terms of the run and what we've got ahead of us, I just think it's so similar to 2018. Yeah, of course, it's Sweden, so there's the obvious similarity there. But the fact it was Croatia in the semi, this time it would probably be the Netherlands, if not maybe even a Denmark side who are rejuvenated. I'm a massive fan. I'm really delighted they've been able to kind of show what they can do and make it out of the group. But I love the way that it's Germany because it's going to be such a big game, and it would be arrogant of us to assume we're going to win. But because there's that kind of carrot afterwards that you have this easier progression, it almost makes the game even bigger than it would be already. And I think that Southgate will 100% play the occasion. You know, he's a pragmatic man, you know, the way that he sets up his sides. But what's really interesting is Germany obviously play essentially a 3-4-3. They're very similar to how they play in terms of Chelsea. Now, England's results recently, obviously, we go back to the World Cup. They played a back five. It was kind of different with three in the middle and two up front with Sterling playing off Kane. But England's results recently, they're negative results when they've lost against Denmark or drawn against them and obviously struggled a little bit in the Nations League games against Czech Republic when they lost as well. Kane playing with a back five. So automatically you'd say, oh, England are going to do that. They're going to match them up. But I don't think we're going to. I think we've shown so far that we're really strong defensively. As you say, we haven't conceded, but we've only conceded 4 shots on target in the entirety of the competition. And it's not like they've been flashing it past the post and you're really worried either. So I think despite the fact that he's chopped and changed so much, I'm really happy with how we look defensively. I think he's obviously been able to bring back Maguire, who I would 100% keep. Henderson, I probably wouldn't start. I think it's a little bit too soon for him, but it's great to have his experience around the team. Then I see the papers today and they're talking about 5 or 6 changes and all of this stuff. And I just can't see that. For me, it'd be come in for Saka. And that would be it. But then, as I've been saying, as Quaker has already spoken about, we talk a lot at work. I'm worried that it now becomes not a game for Jack Grealish just because of the way they play with Gundogan and obviously Kroos in the middle. I don't know if he thinks he's too much of a luxury, but this is why it is so exciting, because if we can't work it out, I don't think Germany will be accurately able to pin down what England are going to play going into the game.
Yeah, you're totally right. What do you think, Quakey? Like,
in terms of it, like, Germany, we all know our history against Germany. Like, we're talking a bit before we started recording, and Jamie was talking about 2010 World Cup where we lost 4-1 to Germany. We are scarred by the memories of playing Germany in big occasions. But this is not the German team of old. This is a different Germany team. Although they've got name brands, the name brands are on their way out, and the new emerging talent, I feel like they haven't quite. They're not up to speed of where they will be in maybe 2 or 3 years' time. So like, I feel like this is the perfect time to play this German side. And in terms of how we approach the game, obviously Gareth Southgate is a pragmatist, and I can understand why people think we're going to go 3 at back or 5 at back or whatever you want to call it. I think we go. It depends. For me, it's predicated on the fitness of Mason Mount, and I know that maybe this is giving Gareth an easy out to maybe drop Mason Mount, but I wouldn't be opposed to seeing if he can play and if he is available. I know he's not with the team at the moment. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing him in the midfield with Rice and Phillips, just to give us that energy and that engine. And with England, I feel like the ball can get stuck, and I feel like Mason Mount in the midfield of those 2 players will. I feel like we can dominate the midfield against Germany, but it's so difficult to call Gareth Southgate because there's opinions flying left, right, and centre. But going forward, I feel kind of confident going into this game against Germany, and it's not arrogance per se, but it's just a feeling that if we get through this, then big things are going to happen this summer for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point on the Mason Mount, inclusion into the team. I think he's due to isolation rules. I think he's actually out. He can't train with the squad. Him and Ben Chilwell until Tuesday. So you don't know how they're going to be training. Obviously, they've got the luxury of being at St George's Park, and there's plenty of space to be able to essentially go and do their daily training. But whether that's via Zoom, whether that's, you don't know what technologies they're going to be using. And I think it might be unrealistic to expect him to be in the starting lineup as much as I would pick him. What I would say, though, is I think having, the luxuries in this squad in terms of we lost Mason Mount for the game, but we were still able to bring on Jack Grealish. We were able to bring in Bukayo Saka, who produced a man of the match performance. I think in terms of the options available for this team, it does breed confidence, like you were saying, Kwaku. I've still got 20 odd years of being an England fan in the back of my mind, so I am struggling, and I felt myself getting, running away with it, or letting it get to my head to start the tournament where I was like, yes, it's coming home. But then we go and draw 0-0 to Scotland. So now I'm a little bit more apprehensive about going too confident into the Germany game. But yeah, I think it's going to be one of those like you were saying, it's difficult to predict the starting 11 for sure. But I think that's part of the joy right now. I'm going to press you guys for a prediction though. So you both seem pretty confident. What's the score going to be against Germany?
How confident? I just feel like, as I've said, I mean, your Mount, it seems as though that they're trying today, as you say, to organise some sort of social distance training. I saw in the original report they would be able to do that anyway, but this is all against what, you know, any of us would have to do if we had to self-isolate. So there's obviously different rules somewhere along the line. I really feel like it would be a game for Mount. I think that he would be perfect in terms of how Germany set up, especially because he's used to playing in that formation and against it, obviously, as well at club level. I just can't help but feel that England have already set out their stall, and I can't see it being any different from that. So I'll be shocked if there's over 2.5 goals in the game. You know, it's one of them. I personally feel as though it will be a draw. I'm going to go 1-1, but I actually think it's going to stop before the penalty heartache. And I think we'll probably win it in extra time, but that's a very specific prediction. So, you know, we will see. But I just can't see there being too many goals in the game, despite what they did to Portugal.
Well, you should check the odds on that then. You might get some good odds on that one, mate. What about you, Quakes?
It's such a tough one. I'm going 2-0 England, and this is me being overly optimistic. But heading into this tournament, what was the biggest question about England? It was the defence. It was the goalkeeper. We haven't conceded the goal. And like Ollie said, we haven't looked like conceding at all. And with England, like, our strength lies, we fought before the tournament, in our attacking players. And I don't know if I believe that we're going to go through a whole tournament with Harry Kane not bagging a couple of goals. And I feel like sod's law, like it's odds on for him to score in this game. Harry Kane doesn't go 4 games in the Premier League without scoring, really. So 4 games is a major tournament where he's a player that does rise to the occasion. And he's seen his contemporaries as well. We've seen Lewandowski turn up obviously in a losing effort for Poland. We've seen, obviously, Ronaldo. We've seen Benzema now turn up. Like, we've seen Lukaku fall out. These are his contemporaries. These are players that he's been compared to. We were calling Harry Kane the second best striker in the world before this tournament. He has to deliver. And I think he will deliver. And I think England are going to win 2-0. So, yeah, that's my prediction.
2-0. As a bold prediction, I'm just going to go with a very, very conservative 1-0 to England. You have to back England, but it's Germany in tournament football, so I feel like the slate is wiped so far for both sides. You know, they'll go into this feeling fresh and fired up. But yeah, in the meantime, Kwaku, where can they find us?
You can find us on Instagram at We Talk Football Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at WTF Podcast 90. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the We Talk Football Podcast channel. We obviously will be covering the Euros throughout, no matter if England go out or progress, as we all hope. So yeah, make sure you keep your eyes peeled for some more videos. And
how about yourself, Oliver? Where can people find you?
Well, the YouTube channel's gone a bit quiet, so it may come back after the Euros. We'll see. But just on Twitter, really, at OStevenson12, which I think is my handle. So if that's wrong, I can only apologise. But yeah, lots of football opinions for some reason, obviously, because I don't have a YouTube at the moment. I've just decided to kind of relay all of my thoughts on there. So if you want to see some ramblings, then feel free to drop me a follow.
Perfect. I'll put a link in the description to Ollie's Twitter in case that is the wrong handle, guys. But thanks for coming on, Ollie. I really appreciate it, mate. And we'll catch you next time, guys.
Guys, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you.